Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my community engagement video. Today, I'm going to be telling you all about my 10 hours at Smalley Academy, where I had the absolute privilege of observing Mrs. Burns. Miss Burns is not your average classroom teacher. She's actually a reading interventionist at Smalley Academy. This means that she collaborates with students from every grade level on reading comprehension, spelling, and pronunciation. While I was observing Mrs. Burns, I have to tell you, I must have walked about 100 miles a day. About every 45 minutes, she gathers the members of her next reading group from all corners of the school. For the short period of time they spend together, Miss Burns effectively utilizes every minute. As her students read aloud, Miss Burns closely observes every syllable uttered. She uses this information to provide individualized aid to each student's reading abilities. Miss Burns also regularly performs online progress assessments with her group members to keep track of their improvement. This allows for an explicit method of identifying specific areas in which a student may struggle. Miss Burns' sheer dedication to the position is admirable. She goes above and beyond for each of her students, always keeping everyone on track and offering any help she can along the way. She also handles behavioral issues with ease. Her calm and collected composure is not instigated by disruptive behavior of any kind. Once, a student entered the reading group with a lot of attitude. The student was chewing gum and resistant toward the reading activities. In order to offer her student privacy, Miss Burns took her outside the classroom to see what was wrong. Turns out, the student was stressed about a project due soon. The reading group was interfering with class time to work on it. So, Mrs. Burns allowed her to miss their meeting to relieve the student's stress. I thought this act of genuine human kindness and understanding was so powerful. Miss Burns showed her student that she is a person with empathy, as she chose to do what was best for her at that moment. Above all, Miss Burns adheres to George Knight's notion that education, life learning, is a lifelong process that can take place in an infinite variety of circumstances and contexts. She understands that her students are learning during their lunch, recess, and even walking through the hallways. On our way to pick up another reading group, we passed a student who was abundantly distraught. Miss Burns inquired about her well-being, only to discover that she had felt very ill. Miss Burns immediately offered comfort and escorted the lone student to the nurse's office. This was fantastic to observe. A teacher stepping out of her role as an educator to be an advocate for this one particular student. She didn't brush the child's emotions and well-being off as someone else's job, but rather embrace the opportunity to help. Miss Burns didn't teach this student anything about vowels or verb tenses, but she did exhibit a crucial life skill: how to be an empathetic individual who takes action. Miss Burns is an advocate for both the individual and the community. In order to inspire students to work hard and strengthen the community at Smalley Academy, Miss Burns calls home to report good news as often as possible. During my observation, I watched at least 3 students eagerly explain the results of their improved progress reports over the phone. This act of positive reinforcement encourages students to continue striving for their best. By sharing her students' success with their guardians, Miss Burns follows John Dewey's notions of progressive education. Dewey claims that education must begin with a psychological insight into the child's capacities, interests, and habits. When Miss Burns picks up her reading group students from their classrooms, she is sure to inquire about their lives. Whether it's their family members, hobbies, or pets, Miss Burns students are always made to feel recognized. She understands that her students are more than just subjects for evaluation, but rather developing members of society.